The hallway that grows. Introduction. In 2025, Alex, a tired office worker, came home late to his drab apartment building, expecting the usual: dim lights, quiet courtyard, a quick climb to his third-floor flat. But one night, the hallway to his door felt off, longer than it should have been, doors stretching beyond reason. Numbers climbed past his floor, 301, 314, 402, like the building had rewritten itself. Turning back, he found no stairs, just a wall, and ahead, his apartment door, stood open, inviting. Strange déjà vu haunted him. Lights flickered. Soft steps echoed behind, yet no one was there. Calling a friend, he heard, "You're there again?" Words that froze him. Each step pulled him deeper into a hallway that knew him, a place he'd sworn he'd walked before, toward a door that wasn't just his anymore. Chapter 1. The Wrong Turn. A cold November night in 2025 draped the city in a heavy quiet, the kind that swallowed sound and sharpened edges. Alex, 34, trudged through the courtyard of his apartment block, a gray slab of a building that sagged under years of neglect. His briefcase swung at his side, tie loosened, exhaustion weighing his steps after a late shift at the office. The street lamp buzzed faintly, casting a sickly yellow glow that flickered, making shadows dance across cracked pavement. The air smelled of damp concrete and distant rain, and the courtyard was empty, as always, just him and the hum of the city fading behind. He pushed open the building's door, hinges creaking, and stepped into the foyer, where a single bulb sputtered, barely lighting the chipped tiles and graffiti-scarred walls. It was routine. Third floor, apartment 306, a quick climb, keys in hand. But tonight, the air felt thick, the quiet too deep, like the building was holding its breath, watching him. He climbed the stairs, boots echoing, the familiar smell of stale air and old paint grounding him. At the third-floor landing, he turned into the hallway, expecting the usual row of doors, 301 to 306, his at the end. But the corridor stretched longer than it should have, doors lining both sides, more than he remembered. He frowned, counting. 301, 2, 303, then paused, steps slowing, as numbers climbed. 308, 310, 314. His heart hitched. His door was 306, third floor, always had been. The hallway kept going, dim bulbs flickering overhead, casting jagged shadows that moved when he didn't. He walked faster, pulse quickening, but the doors didn't stop. 320, 328, numbers jumping, floors blending, 402. He froze, breath shallow. This is wrong, I'm on 3. Turning back, he expected the stairwell, but found a blank wall, gray and solid, no trace of an exit. Ahead at the hallway's end, a door stood, 306, his number, slightly ajar, light spilling out. A faint hum filled the air, and he swore he heard steps behind him, soft, deliberate. But no one was there, just a night bending into unease he couldn't shake, the wrong turn leading somewhere he didn't belong. Chapter 2. The Endless Walk. A cold November midnight in 2025 pressed against the apartment block, the courtyard outside silent, its street lamp flickering like a dying pulse. Alex stood in the hallway, heart thudding, staring at the blank wall, where the stairs should have been, its gray surface unbroken, mocking him. The air was heavy, stale, carrying a faint buzz that wasn't just the lights overhead, which sputtered, plunging the corridor into half-darkness before flaring again. He turned back toward the hallway, its length impossible, doors stretching far beyond his third-floor landing, their numbers a jumbled mess: 315, 322, 401, 407, climbing into floors the building didn't have. His apartment, 306, waited at the end. Its door opened just a crack, a sliver of warm light spilling out. Familiar but wrong, like a memory he couldn't trust. He took a step, then another, the floor creaking under his boots, each sound swallowed by the quiet that felt alive, watching, waiting for him to move deeper into its maze. The hallway seemed to shift as he walked, walls inching closer, ceiling lower, though he couldn't be sure. It was subtle, a trick of the flickering light maybe, but it stirred a déjà vu that clawed at him, a sense he'd walked this path before, countless times, though he'd swear he hadn't. Soft steps echoed behind him, faint, out of sync with his own, and he spun, pulse racing, finding nothing but empty corridor, doors shut tight, numbers glinting under the stuttering bulbs. "Who's there?" he called, voice thin, unanswered, but the steps lingered in his mind, a rhythm he couldn't shake. He checked his phone. No signal, just the time, 12:47 a.m., and a photo of his apartment door, 306, taken weeks ago, now somehow off, the number blurred. He kept walking, faster, the hallway stretching, doors multiplying, 409, 415, his breath hitching as he passed them, each one closed, silent but feeling occupied, watched. The open door ahead grew closer, yet never close enough. A tease that pulled him on, a night bending into an endless walk he couldn't stop. The hallway growing with every step he took, every glance at the door that wasn't his anymore. Chapter 3. The Call. A cold November night in 2025 clung to the apartment block, the hallway a tunnel of dim light and shadow that seemed to breathe, its walls pressing in, alive with a quiet that hummed just below hearing. Alex gripped his phone, knuckles white, as he walked the impossible corridor, its length defying reason, doors lining both sides with numbers that mocked him. 403, 412, 426, jumping floors, twisting reality. The lights flickered overhead, plunging, the hall into darkness for a heartbeat before snapping back, each pulse tightening the déjà vu that gnawed at him. A feeling he'd been here before, trapped in this loop. Though his mind screamed it was new. His apartment door, 306, stood at the end, still open, light spilling out, warm but wrong, pulling him closer even as his guts screamed to run. The faint steps behind him came again, soft, deliberate, closer now, and he spun, shouting, "Show yourself!" Nothing, just empty hallway, doors shut, but the air felt thick, crowded, like eyes on his back. He quickened his pace, boots loud against the creaking floor, the sound swallowed by the hum that grew, not sound but presence, urging him toward that open door. Desperate, he dialed his friend Tom, the call crackling, signal weak, but it connected. "Tom, listen. I'm in my building, but it's wrong. The hallway. It's too long, I can't find the stairs," he said, voice shaking, words tumbling out. A pause. Then Tom's voice, low, strange. "You're there again?" Alex froze, breath catching. "What do you mean again? I'm stuck. Help me." Tom sighed. "You said this before, Alex, last week, same thing. Hallway doors you never learn." The line cut, static hissing, and Alex stared at the phone, screen dark, no call log, no proof, just those words, again, ringing in his skull, feeding the déjà vu, making him question every step he'd taken. The steps behind resumed, closer, and he ran, hallway stretching, numbers blurring, 430, 442, until he neared 306, its door wider now, light blinding. He stopped, chest heaving, feeling the hallway's hum, its rhythm his own heartbeat, a night bending into a call he couldn't unhear, a loop tightening with every moment he stood, every step toward a door that knew him too well, waiting for him to cross its threshold. Chapter 4. The Loop. A cold November darkness in 2025 wrapped the apartment block, the hallway a maze of flickering light and endless doors that pulsed with a life of their own. Alex stood feet from his apartment, 306, its door wide open now, light pouring out, warm and familiar, yet sharp like a blade dressed as home. The corridor stretched behind him, impossibly long, numbers climbing into nonsense. 445, 451, 502. Floors that didn't exist, a building rewritten to trap him. The lights buzzed, flickering fast, shadows twitching across walls that seemed to lean in, brushing his shoulders, though he swore they hadn't moved. The déjà vu was crushing now, a certainty he'd walked this hall before, not once but countless times, each step a replay, each glance at the doors. 408, 417. A memory he couldn't place but felt in his bones. The faint steps behind him echoed again, soft, relentless, and he didn't look back, knowing no one would be there, yet feeling them closer, a presence pacing his fear, matching his pulse, urging him toward the open door that shouldn't be. His butt was. He clutched his phone, screen dead since Tom's call. "You're there again?" Words that looped in his mind, unraveling him. He'd checked the call log, found nothing, no trace of Tom, no proof he'd spoken. But the words clung, suggesting he'd been here before, stuck, repeating. He tried the wall again, pounding where the stairs should have been, but it was solid, cold, unyielding. The hallway's hum louder now, vibrating in his chest, a rhythm that felt like laughter, mocking his fight. He turned, walking toward 306, the only way left, each step heavier, the air thicker, the déjà vu a tide pulling him under. He'd passed these doors, seen these numbers, felt this fear, hadn't he? The steps behind matched his, then stopped as he did. A mirror he couldn't face. He reached the threshold, light blinding, and peered in. His couch, his lamp, but wrong, angles off, shadows too long. The hum grew, the hallway behind him endless, and he felt it. The building wasn't just a place, it was alive, looping him, rewriting him with every move. A night bending into a loop he couldn't break, the open door calling, the hallway growing with every step he hesitated. Every moment he fought the pull to enter what waited inside. Chapter 5. The Threshold. A cold November stillness in 2025 gripped the apartment block, the hallway a tunnel of flickering light and shadow that seemed to breathe, its walls alive with a hum that sank into Alex's skin. He stood at the threshold of apartment 306, its door wide, light spilling out, bright but cold, like a stage set for someone else's life. The corridor stretched behind him, endless, doors lining both sides with numbers that taunted. 509, 522, and 1, climbing into a reality the building couldn't hold, yet did, for him. The lights pulsed overhead, each flicker tightening the déjà vu that choked him, a certainty he'd stood here before, faced this door, felt this fear, not once but forever, a loop he couldn't name but knew. The steps behind had stopped, but their echo lingered, a presence just out of sight, watching, waiting for him to choose, stay in the hallway, or cross into whatever waited inside. His hand trembled on the doorframe, the wood warm, almost pulsing, and he swore the hum grew louder, syncing with his heartbeat, urging him forward, into a space that looked like home, but wasn't, couldn't be. He glanced back, hoping for stairs, an exit, anything. But the hallway only grew, doors multiplying, numbers blurring. 608, 615, as if daring him to run, knowing he wouldn't. Tom's voice haunted him. "You're there again?" A knife in his mind, suggesting he'd never left, that this was his place, his fate, replayed endlessly. He'd tried calling again, but the phone stayed dead. No signal, no time. Just a blank screen reflecting his face, unfamiliar, eyes too wide, like the hallway had started rewriting him too. The air thickened, heavy with a scent he hadn't noticed before. Old paper, decay, memory, and the déjà vu surged, images flashing, him walking this hall, opening this door over and over, each time thinking it was new. He stepped closer, peering in. His furniture, his life, but off, shadows moving where they shouldn't. a hum that wasn't just sound but intent, pulling him. The hallway pressed behind. No way back, only forward, into 306, where something waited. Something that knew him, had always known him. A night bending into a threshold he couldn't avoid, the door his only path, the hallway growing with every second he lingered, every breath he took outside its claim. Chapter 6. The Other. A cold November dawn in 2025 should have broken over the apartment block. But inside, time felt still. The hallway a world apart, its flickering lights frozen in a dim, eternal glow. Alex stood inside apartment 306, the door, behind him now shut, though he didn't remember closing it. Its click a final note in the hum that filled the air, now soft, satisfied. The room looked like his, couch worn, lamp crooked, coffee table scratched. But it wasn't, not really. Angles bent wrong, shadows stretched too far, and the air carried a weight, like it held more than one life, more than one him. The hallway's endless stretch lingered in his mind. Its doors, 701, 715, 802, burned into his thoughts. The déjà vu a pulse he couldn't shake, telling him he'd been here, done this, lived this moment before, countless times, each one blurring into now. The steps that had followed him were gone, but he wasn't alone. He felt it, a presence in the room, not behind but ahead, waiting where the light didn't reach, where his life ended and something else began. He stepped deeper, floor creaking, and froze. A figure sat on the couch, facing away, shoulders slumped, familiar in a way that stopped his heart. The hum softened, the light steadied, and the figure turned, slow, deliberate, revealing a face. His face, Alex's, but worn, eyes hollow, a tired smile that wasn't his own. "You came," the other said, voice low, cracked, like it had spoken too many times. "Hope you remembered the way back." Alex stumbled, breath gone, words caught in his throat. What are you?" The other stood, mirroring his stance, his fear, but older, heavier, as if it had walked the hallway longer, lived its loop too many times. "You," it said, stepping closer. "Or what's left when you stop running." The room tightened, shadows curling, and Alex saw it. His life, his steps, his fear, all written in the other's eyes, a reflection of every moment he'd felt that déjà vu, every door he'd passed, every call to Tom answered with, "Again." The other gestured to the door, now open again, hallway waiting, endless, and Alex knew. He'd walk it, like the other had, like he always would, a night bending into another him, the hallway claiming them both, growing with every step he'd take, every loop he couldn't break until he was the one waiting, saying, "You came," to the next who entered.